Good Saturday afternoon to you. This is the Velco Weather Hazards Outlook. This valid the rest of today, Saturday, through next Friday, May the 15th. It's a bit of a busy forecast, and we got a lot of things going on right now. First of all, we've had exceptionally warm and dry weather. This dry weather is just about ready to come to an end later on today, as a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity will be flaring up across the northern tier areas. We're starting to see dew point temperatures on the increase. This is being advected in from the south and west. And later on, we have the remnants here, or what will be the remnants of Tropical Storm Anna, that will come ashore, it looks like, on Sunday morning. And then some of that moisture and the remnants will then take a track off the southern New England coast, really not become a factor for us in utilities, but some of that moisture may be enhancing some of our local rainfall as a cold front. It gets draped across our local region, and a series of weak shortwaves moves along it between basically Sunday afternoon and into probably Tuesday night after a cold front moves on through and we start to see better conditions begin to clear into the region. It's relatively cool across portions of eastern New England and looks like eastern Vermont, but that's about to change as the wind flow is a little bit more of the westerly component, but just about due southerly. And this is going to be taking in higher dew point temperatures. And with that, some instability. This is CAPE, convective available potential energy here you're seeing modeled, and this is going to get into northern Vermont here later in the afternoon. Some of the daily models, this is the surface synopsis, and we can see that really no issues here with that tropical system. This would be a valid 8 o'clock this evening, and we start to see just a little bit of isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm activity starting to work in, but the main features remain north of the St. Lawrence River Valley. However, as we get into Sunday, this is going to flare up, and it looks like it's going to cover most of the state of Vermont with showers and thunderstorms that have become, in terms of areal coverage, considerably wider spread. And we are looking at, it looks like wind shear is around 25 knots, and that may be just enough to have a component where one or two thunderstorms may reach alert levels or sub-alert levels, meaning some fairly frequent lightning and potentially gusty winds that may exceed over 40 miles per hour. It's going to be a very close call. This will be taking place again Sunday afternoon and evening, Mother's Day. Then just some leftover showers before the warm front tries to lift back to the north. So a very active weather pattern for Monday, and this will continue into Tuesday as well, as we have a cold front here that will rush through, and it'll have some gusty winds, and one or two of these cells could be strong enough to produce some wind issues. So we'll be watching that as well. Now, as we get into basically, we lose the thunderstorm threat Tuesday night, but we do have some rain showers that will kind of come through with the last of a secondary cold front. That system then moves on out. High pressure begins to build in. Very nice project weather setting up with high pressure moving in for Thursday. This will continue into Friday and probably even into Saturday as things look right now before another bit of a weather system tries to make a run at us. But it looks like that area of higher pressure is going to start to block things up, and we get some blocking over the Atlantic Ocean. So it seems like we barely got done with winter. We're right into summer already, and we had tropical systems, more late summer or fall oriented. So things are kind of crazy. And here's the precipitable water. It's a really good measurement to look at. This is valid 2 o'clock on Saturday. Notice we're mostly in the blue, so southern Vermont has nothing to worry about. We have to watch that northwest corner up in the northern Champlain Valley. But we get into higher precipitable water, and this is an indication of how moist the atmosphere is. So, well, dew point temperatures advect in, and we'll have a sufficient fuel for thunderstorms, so heads up on that, and we'll be watching that very carefully. The moisture kind of hangs in place really right into the day on Tuesday. By Tuesday afternoon, it looks like it begins to move on out, and so the threat for thunderstorms will diminish very quickly. And just a little bit of shower activity left over on Wednesday with a cold front, and much cooler temperatures arrive aloft. In fact, cool enough actually to snow in some of our tip top of our mountains, but we're not going to get into that at all. We're looking at very dry conditions as high pressure builds in for late in the week, and it looks like that tries to kind of just hang tough. It looks like most into the early part of next week. Well, we have been extremely dry, and this is, in fact, pollen counts are off the scale this early May. And this is one of the contributing factors. Notice this is Burlington here, and this is going back through February. This is the 6th of May. And you can see it's just nothing but a deficit here. These are the individual shots of precipitation. The greatest going back to the 21st of April, and we got 0.6 of an inch. But it has been rather sparse in terms of any big major weather systems producing any kind of heavier rainfall. Largely, this is owed to the fact that we've had a generally a northwesterly flow with very little in the way of any moisture sources. It looks like that is about to change with a period, a rather wet period, really starting tomorrow, Sunday, Mother's Day, and continuing, it looks like, into Tuesday. Here's a quick look at live lightning, and we have a little bit of thunderstorm activity up, looks like in the Ottawa Valley and points west. And again, we're expecting a little bit of action to start to develop across our neighbors in Quebec and Ontario, and begin to traverse the northern tier areas late in the day on Saturday. This will be a close call. It could be just a little bit north of the Canadian border, but chances are it'll be in the northern Champlain Valley. This is currently live lightning, of course. Major action pretty much all week long with a series of severe weather events and tornadic thunderstorms galore through parts of Texas, Oklahoma, back in the north and northern plains and whatnot, and just only continues. So, about to enter a wet period here. This is Water Prediction Center's 7-day quantitative precipitation forecast. In other words, accumulated precipitation all in the form of rain. We are looking at this line here that's roughly about 1 inch and 1.5 across the St. Lawrence Valley and our neighbors to the north. A little bit less in Vermont, about a ½ inch in the Massachusetts-Vermont border. And pretty dry conditions will continue across a wide area of the middle Atlantic states, even despite the fact that we do have precipitation associated with the remnants now of Tropical Storm Anna. This will blow out, of course, off to the south of our location out to sea, but we're going to remain relatively dry across southern New England. However, Vermont is going to get its share, but it's really from moisture spreading in around that sort of almost Bermuda area of higher pressure and then coming at us basically from the west. This is 1 through 5, the meteorological output statistics mean max temperatures, and you can see we're a little bit above normal, but that's about to change. We're going to be near normal as we get some rain-cooled air, and a much cooler air mass is going to be filtering in. 3 to 7 days out, you can see here that most of the country is going to be below normal in temperature, a big switch. Even the west is going to be, look at this, California, 12 degrees below normal. That's phenomenal. And it looks like basically coast to coast, near normal temperatures in our neck of the wood, but it's going to be weighted. So we're starting out on the warm side and we go cool, so it's basically weighted. Again, this is 3 to 7 days. I put together a sort of ensemble forecast here with a couple 3 European and GFS models, and you can see this is today's temperature here on Saturday. This would be Sunday, your max temperature, and these temperatures are generally close to probably about the 75 to 80 degree realm. This is probably going to be in the low 80s for most of the region. And you can see the temperatures, Monday is a little bit more, models having a little tougher time. Some of that even shows temperatures down into the 60s, but so Monday could be some rain-cooled air locally, and then the temperatures pop back up on Tuesday, and then a pretty sharp fall as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so forth, but a little bit of a climb later next week, or at the end of next week. The main issue is dry weather up until then. That's just about done now. But we do have this wet period where we're looking at a considerable amount of rainfall here. Again, somewhere around 1 inch to maybe 1.5 inches as you head up in the far northern portion of the state. And then it comes to an end with a cold front. As we get colder, we have very nice, good project weather toward the end of this coming week. This is centered on Burlington. This is the GFS ensemble. And you can see again a period of wet weather ahead, and probably center lining this somewhere between 1 and 1.2 inches. Again, up in northern parts of the state. Southern Vermont, not going to see nearly that, more like only about a ½ inch or so. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.